Oh, that looks fun. What is that? You're not gonna tell me what you're looking at?
I can't imagine you guys would have the break. What the f are you doing? The guys did a great job getting the Cuda ready for Coscarelli and Baldwin's visit. As a result of that, I'd like to try to find something that I could reward them with to show my deep appreciation. Not something like a raise, because they're not worth any more money.
Mark's trying to surprise us with something. No matter what Mark says, it's nothing for us and all for him. No, no thanks. I've already done that. Do you know what hog fuel even is?
Darren suffers from diarrhea of the mouth. That means that it just pours out of his mouth these aimless words, these babbling stories that mean nothing to anybody but him.
Anyway, McCramps, be careful with those boots. No, not that.
And then the only time he actually does have anything cognizant to say at all, it's to criticize.
Oh, well, that's way too expensive. Oh, way too much money. What is your budget?
As cheap as I can amuse you idiots.
He's trying to make up to us, suck up to us for what he's done to us in the past, but it's way too little, way too late.
Where'd you guys buy your TV? You told me a year ago you got some big fancy schmancy TV that you don't deserve.
Overstock.com.
Overstock.
Yeah. It's like your stomach, it's been overstocked. I'm gonna go back to work, okay? You can play on the computer, Nancy, okay?
That's actually pretty cool.
Josh, come on, buddy.
This time on Graveyard Cars. We're disassembling Mike Hill's 1970 Plymouth Superbird.
I did take the top one off first, fool.
We also have a deadline coming up on Chris Driscoll's AAR Cuda. Would also give me a chance to rectify the fixed Hot Wheels race from last time I was there.
I'm gonna have to buy more parts for my car that were stolen by Mark.
Well, you hit him in plain sight. It's like telling an orangutan to brush after every meal. As soon as you turn around, it'll hit you in the back with a dung patty. You better go check your depends, fool. No time, no time. Let the charger down, roll it outside. Let the charger down, roll it outside. No!
Got that car coming to get you, Barbara.
The unburied dead are coming back to life.
My name is Mark Warman. I work with my worst enemy, Darren Kirkpatrick.
Give me a gun!
And my son-in-law, Josh. Whoa! Along with my best friend, Royal.
Well, all right.
And our newest team member, Holly.
This is exciting.
We bring dead cars back to life. If we don't kill each other.
Oh, Mark! Oh. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
While we're scrambling to finish the AAR Cuda, I have an appointment for the Superbird to go up to Portland to American Metal Cleaning and get dipped. We are jammed to the rafters with cars and work. We still have in the shop Mark and Elena's 1970 Cuda FE5 Rally Red 383 automatic car. We still have our 1970 Dodge Challenger RT 440 automatic FC7 Plum Crazy black top power sunroof 6-way houndstooth interior AM 8-track rally dash car with a luggage rack. Less than a handful of these cars built ever. We just got in a 1971 Dodge Challenger RT 446-pack 4-speed 354 Dana, one of 127 made. We got a 1970 Plymouth Cuda 340 automatic in Tour Red, factory rear window louvers, hockey stick, and rear spoiler. This is our 1970 Barracuda that belongs to the Cooks. It's a factory convertible top 383 two-barrel car. Hanging from the rafters, we got our 71 Cuda 446-barrel 4-speed 354 Dana Tour Red shaker hood car, one of 108 made. Still waiting to get back inside the shop. We just brought in a 71 Barracuda that we're doing a complete restoration in factory original Winchester gray. Fresh in from New York, we just got this 1970 Dodge Charger factory 426 Hemi 4-speed 410 Dana Super Track Pack car in FK5 burnt orange with black guts and a black top, one of 56 made. 1968 Dodge Charger RT factory 440 automatic green with a white interior, white bumblebee stripe. This is a one-owner car entrusted to Graveyard Cars. 1970 Dodge Challenger RT 446-pack 4-speed 354 Dana, one of 847 made. 1972 Dodge Charger Special Edition 400 4-speed 68 Dodge Charger factory slant 6 two-owner car, East Coast, one of 903 ever built. An original 72 Dodge Charger 318 automatic A53 rally package. Here we got our 69.5 Super B we're just getting ready to start on. Bright green 446-pack 4-speed, one of 826 ever made, waiting right now to go into the shop. Freshly painted is our 1971 Cuda 340 4-speed factory shaker hood car. Under the umbrella of you'll never see this twice in a lifetime, 2 VIN sequentially numbered 1970 Dodge Challenger RTs. These 2 cars started life in Hamtramck, Michigan in 1970, front to back, pilot, co-pilot, and that's exactly how they're getting restored here at Graveyard Carz. One of our favorite cars that just showed up here, 1969 Dodge Charger. This is a Dukes of Hazzard car. This car holds the record for the longest jump of any General Lee in any of the Duke television series and or movie. If you remember the freeway jump in the movie with Jessica Simpson, you'll remember this car. That's what we got going on at Graveyard Carz. You got any questions? Good. We have a lot going on at Graveyard Carz. We also have a deadline coming up on Chris Driscoll's AAR Cuda. First, I have to do the unique AAR blackout treatment. At the factory, these cars used a nitrocellulose lacquer applied to the top surfaces. That gave them that suede matte finish. Today, we don't have the suede toner for the lacquer, and even if we did, that lacquer won't hold up like today's urethanes do. So I made my own cocktail of black paint, flattening agent, reducer, and hardener, so that when it dries, it has the same sheen, the same look, and the same effect as the original lacquer paint, but it'll hold up for 100 years versus a couple of years. A couple weeks ago, I called Alvaro at West Coast Metal Buildings up in Salem. I told him that we were out of room when we disassembled these cars. We needed a place for all the parts to go into. So while I was on the phone with Alvaro, he invited us up to take a look at the new factory that they had just put together and maybe go over some ideas as to what would be the best solution to our problem. It's friggin' huge. You guys design it and hand build hand weld everything?
Yeah, a lot of welding, a lot of cutting.
Gosh. They gave us a tour of the facility, and I will tell you that it is the cleanest and the nicest manufacturing facility that I have ever been in.
It's got a great facility, 100 by 300 feet. That's what we need. And I don't know why Mark's so cheap. Why doesn't get us into a building like that? Good tools, good equipment, good people. You have a good product.
Besides the fact that it's all American-made products, they're actually putting it all together here as well. They do their own bending, they do their own welding, their own brakes, their own shears. They have a mini assembly line out here that's second to none. I was really impressed watching the sheet metal come down the dolly setup where it would put the strength ribs in it. They're actually doing that here. They're not just ordering it in already bent. It actually comes in a big sheet, a 3,000, 4,000 pound sheet, and they run it through their own machine to make sure that every one of the strength ribs are exactly where it's supposed to be.
I noticed they do better metal work here than they do at Mark's shop. I haven't noticed a single wave. You know, Mark's panels on the car are really friendly. They'll sit there and they'll wave at you, you know.
The way Mark's business is expanding, he's going to need at least 6 storage containers. We're going to get that to him and get his business rolling. It was nice having Mark and Darren come up today. I always enjoy their company. They're fun. They're a bunch of goofballs, you know, but it's a nice, beautiful day, and I think it's time for us to get a beer.
I'm really grateful for companies like West Coast Metal Buildings. They are a good partner. I'm glad I made that decision because it's been the right decision. Alvaro and I got together and decided that we're going to go with an 8x16 storage unit, and he's going to build us half a dozen of them to see how they work out. They are to the prefabricated buildings that we are to the restoration of Chrysler muscle cars. The best there is. In 1970, Plymouth introduced a muscle car that had 2 different size tires when it left the assembly line. What car was it? A, the 1970 Plymouth Duster 340, B, the 1970 AAR Cuda, or C, the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner convertible? Stay tuned for the answer. So what Plymouth was it that left the assembly line with 2 different size tires in 1970? The answer is the AAR Cuda. With the unique low clearance megaphone dual exhaust, Chrysler felt it was important to put an E6015 on the front and a G6015 on the back, giving the car enough rake and clearance for the new exhaust. And by the way, it was the only Plymouth muscle car that ever left the assembly line with 2 different size tires on it. Visit graveyardcarz.com to learn more. We've got more cars in the queue than ever before, but with the help of West Coast Metals and Derek finishing the blackout on Chris Driscoll's AAR Cuda, we may actually stay on schedule. And as long as the guys keep doing good work, I've got a surprise in store they'll be talking about for years. Today we're disassembling Mike Hill's 1970 Plymouth Superbird. The guys won't be here for about an hour, so that'll give me a chance to raise it up in the air, do all of my documentation without being interrupted by them and their foolishness. There's two things I'm looking for underneath there. One is Lynch Road assembly line procedures and unique procedures for just the Plymouth Superbird. And up here at the front on the K-member, you see an X. That X right there lets somebody know something on the assembly line. Whether it was that the steering gear was in place or whether everything had been torqued or checked, that X meant something. Here's where all the big stuff is. Big stuff. See the paint on the inside of that nose cone is running down? That means it was upside down when they painted it. And then here's the rivets. Those are great to know what the exact size of the rivet is. So once we get that nose cone piece off of there, we'll be able to determine what the width and the diameter and the exact length of those are. And that would be the last two digits of the factory part number for the correct K-member for the 1970 Plymouth Superbird. What's happening, Chief?
How you doing?
You guys are on time.
Right now, we're going to disconnect everything on the top of the engine that's needed so we can drop the engine transmission out in one unit attached to the K-member, like the radiator hoses, wires, etc.
If somebody can we could take that radiator out of there right now if somebody can disconnect the lines on the bottom. You need a 5/8 and a half-inch wrench.
It's been pretty cool so far. It's been a handful putting up with Darren.
We'll let Derek do that. He hasn't done anything. Get down there, Derek.
We're getting through it. We're going to live through it. It's all good.
The reason that Derek came in today to give us a hand is Royal's at one of the existential shows in town showing off his 67 poop box. I asked him not to because I told him we got a lot to do, but he wanted to go show off his car, which I painted, so if he gets a trophy in a way, it kind of comes to me anyway, but whatever.
How you doing, Dave? Not bad. Darren just got me the wrong wrenches.
Yep, that's how my boy works.
Get me the wrenches.
I'm going to, buddy. You haven't paid your dues. You just sort of
Jump.
waltz. You just waltz right here thinking you're something. You know, every time I need a tool around here, I can't find it. I have no idea where the tools are, if they've grown legs or what.
Oh, they haven't grown legs. They're wherever you left them jackknifed in the back lot the last time you worked out there before you forgot where the hell you were at for a while. You know how you have those moments? That's where the tools are. They didn't grow any legs. See any legs?
No, whatever.
Just like Darren.
Beautiful.
Nope.
Darren, you got to
Just
take the
spin
top
it.
one off first.
You know, it's hard working with Mark when he's always second guessing me and always hounding me about everything. I'd already done what he was hounding me about. I did take the top one off first, fool.
Overall, the new approach here with trying to get the guys in tune and trying to train them instead of just bullying them around and making fun of them is working a little bit better, I think, so far.
There, it finally came off.
Not a very...
How many
What do you
feet?
mean?
Sir?
Nothing. Disregard. Darren was
The
having
shaft was
troubles.
spinning in the shock. That's what the
Okay.
deal was, buddy.
I am being reminded on a minute-by-minute basis of why my blood pressure goes up, but overall, I think we're doing good. And then we still need to get the drive shaft out. That's something...
Okay. Twiddly dumb.
No, I didn't say any of those things. I'm trying to treat you guys with the respect that I would like to
Hey,
have.
Jerry. Look, he's done. No!
What are you doing?
We're gonna pick it up for our brakes.
I'm using it for a pattern.
Heart attack here, man.
Yeah,
I'm using it for a pattern, you ape.
There's a piece of sharp metal hanging down. It was about ready to cut Mark. I thought we'd just take it clear off the car to protect everyone.
Perfect example of why it's so difficult to maintain a calm, peaceful outlook. Darren's trying to rip a piece of rusty metal off the lower nose cone that I need in place so that I can make a pattern for the lower half of the new nose cone when I put it back together again. It's frustrating.
All in all, it's been a good day here at Graveyard Carz. Derek and I got the driveline out of the Superbird, and Mark and Josh work on the front suspension. I think right now they're trying to get the torch bars out.
What's happening right now is that a lot of the nuts and the bolts are broken and rusted on this car, so we're heating up the nuts for the exhaust manifold so we can get them off of there. The heat will open them up so they'll actually come off the threads. Right now we got everything unbolted on the bottom of the car and the top so that the motor and the transmission and the K-member can all come out now as one unit. In this particular case, because everything is old and it's rusty and it's crusty, I'm going to use the forklift to go up, preload the motor and the transmission, lower it down. Hopefully it'll clear the car and we can move on to the rear suspension. just finished pulling out the K-member, which has the motor bolted to it, as well as the transmission. One of the things I liked the most was that everything was there. Every nut, every bolt, every clip, every fastener, linkage rods for the automatic transmission. It just makes my life so much easier when it comes time to put it back together again.
Looks like I'm gonna have to buy more parts for my car that were stolen by Mark.
Well, you hit him in plain sight.
Drop his ass.
Okay, stop. Oh, stop.
While the blackout on the AAR Cuda cures, we're making major progress on Mike Hill's Superbird. Since Royal's off indulging himself at a local car show, Derek's helping us knock out the teardown in record time. Unlike Darren, who spent the entire day complaining, breaking things, and losing tools. So things are going really well. The guys are all getting along pretty well. We just went to lunch after pulling the suspension out of the front. Darren apparently has a headache or he's playing the game, so he's laying down in the office. But that's fine. Us three guys can rock and roll and get the rest of this car apart. Josh, why don't you go ahead and put the wheels on it? That way when we let it down, we can take the rear shackles off, lower the car to the ground, and then take the front ones out, and that'll leave it on its wheels, and we can just roll the whole axle out back.
So Mark, Derek, and myself are disassembling the rear end on the Superbird, and we are getting so much done. This thing is coming apart like a dream.
It's just went phenomenally smooth and quick tearing this car apart today. Especially after lunch, Darren went and took his nap, disappeared.
Darren's in there sucking his thumb, sawing logs, counting sheep, whatever. He's out like a light. But we got it done, and things are going really great.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat car. It needs a lot of work, but it's more than fixable, so just a lot of time. It'll look better than new.
It's amazing, these bolts, as rusty as the whole car is, I'm using my Mako ratcheting wrench, walking right off of there. A little bit of penetrating oil on it. Looks like the frame rails. The frame rails are beautiful. I was scared to death when we got it up and really looked it over that they'd be in bad shape, but those things are nice. That means just sheet metal got rusted. Crazy. Let's see here. If it all comes up like that, we're in good shape. Have this thing out of here in no time. Now that we have the front suspension, K-member, engine, transmission, and cooling out of the Superbird, we can lower it to the ground where it's close and roll that rear axle out from underneath it. Go down a little more. Raise it up a little bit, Josh.
Hey, buddy, Darren should nap more often.
God, no kidding. Jeez. Instead of him constantly having that
easy.
second opinion or that third opinion. What if you just raise it up and spin around 3 times, buddy, and we'll go get an ice cream? Well, it's not going to get the rear end out any faster. Okay, so really all we have left on the bottom, you guys, is let's drop the tank, the shocks. We'll get the rear bumper bolts out while it's up in the air, and we'll disconnect the front nose cone. And then we can take the fuel lines and brake lines out, and this thing is then ready to let down and do the few things on the top. All right, let's get it done. Basically, we put all new lines in everything, so that's why I'm cutting it. The time it takes to weave these out, and it's just a waste because we're not going to use them. Our friends over at Mr. Moparts makes beautiful versions of these brake lines, so we always get them brand new from them, and it saves us a lot of time taking it apart. Those I want to keep a pattern of,
Okay.
so cut as little as possible off of those. Go ahead and route those out, just to make sure that we got the right routing on the new ones. So let's try to keep them intact. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put these out there with the parts.
For as rusted out as this thing is, I can't believe how fast we got the brake line and the gas tank out. And it's all intact.
Well, so basically we just finished taking the car apart. I still have to have the glass guys come out and remove the windshield and the back glass. Derek's got a few more things he has to take off of it, but I wanted to get it moved out of that area because that's where we're gonna need to be working on the AAR so we can get the suspension under it. We're on a roll. These days, you very rarely see a vinyl top on a car. It's just not a popular option. If you go back into the early 70s, late 60s, it was an extremely popular option. Now, I will tell you that while I don't like them on every single car, on this AAR Cuda, it's sexy as hell, and I think it's one of the best options it could have had.
Today we're going to work on the 1970 AAR Cuda, and also Mark threw me a little curveball today. We're going to look at my car and see where we need to go forward with the restoration process. I'm all excited about that. It's been a long haul.
I'm gonna help Flipper go underneath this car and look for all the parts and the pieces that we need to get ordered.
Hopefully there's a few of my pieces of my car left.
All right, fool. So the way I see it, everything that you did before without my help has to be undone, which is typical.
Okay.
I really believe the car needs to be media blasted. If you look, did you notice the rust? It needs a complete restoration just like the Superbird does. Let's take the front suspension out of it, torsion bars, everything you powder coated for some strange reason, black. Let's undo all that and do all the correct colors and stuff on it. That Dana needs to come out of there. All those leaf springs need to be taken apart. Did you have those powder coated? I could live with that. That's all right, I can live with that.
What started out to be a meeting about what parts you needed to restore my $70 Challenger ended up being a meeting about an investigation as to where my parts had gone from the point we looked at it last.
Okay, so I need to order your gas tank. I just think in fairness, I know I took it without asking, but you were never happy with it because it got rust on it, and I put it in a car that somebody didn't care, so.
So what are you saying?
Well, I'm saying, do you want to contribute to the gas tank?
Well, it was brand new.
It was rusty.
It was brand new.
Okay. The distribution block for the emergency brake cable to go from here over to here, why didn't you put that on?
Well, I did.
This one
I
right
didn't know
here.
it was missing. Thanks.
I don't know how fair it is to automatically blame me for everything missing on his car. I thought we had kind of an open communication about what I could use as long as I replaced it type of thing.
I was looking forward to it. I thought it was going to go real well. And it went pretty good at first, but the more and more we looked at the car, the more and more parts we found that were stolen.
Where's all the nuts for the seats? Let me guess, I took those too.
Surprised there's still 2 of them on there, actually.
Why would I take your nuts?
Because you don't have any for yourself.
Where's the bolts that hold the heat shields on? And don't say I took them.
I don't know.
Okay, that's the right answer.
Oh, what's the deal with the gold rods on my transmission?
What do you mean?
Well, they're not right. They're supposed to be black, and those aren't the original rods.
I thought you...
Thought me what?
I thought you knew that.
No.
I swear you told me that I could have those rods for the RTSD, didn't you? Well, you hit them in plain sight.
No, I hit them in the cabinet in the other shop originally. This meeting started off with good intentions, but now it looks like I'm going to have to buy more parts for my car that were stolen by Mark.
So just make sure that when you take the car apart that you inventory every single part
what
for
about
it.
the front sway bar? It's missing.
Huh? I think it's not right that you make me a scapegoat for everything missing on your car. Okay. Yeah, I took the sway bar. I took the sway bar. I thought he knew I took the sway bar. I took the shift rods.
Front sway bar. They had a front sway bar on these cars. Oh boy. Yeah, that meeting went real well, didn't it? Gee, Christmas. So as always, I'm put back further and further on the back burner because now we got to get past the parts that are missing. Again, more parts that are missing, stolen. Pilfered is a good word for it.
In 1969, Chrysler was required to make 500 street versions of their Daytona Charger in order to compete at NASCAR. In 1970, when Plymouth introduced the Superbird, that number increased. How many Superbirds had to be made? A, 1,520, B, 1,720, or C, 1,920? Stay tuned for the answer. So just how many Plymouth Superbirds were made in 1970? The answer is 1,920. NASCAR had changed the rules by 70 and required a manufacturer to make one streetcar for every 2 dealerships in the U.S. And while that netted Chrysler a whole bunch of Plymouth Superbirds, the dealerships were having a hard time selling them. It was reported that the nose and the wing would be removed in some cases to make it more appealing to the average customer. Oddly enough, today, a Superbird with a Hemi and a 4-speed original numbers matching could be worth over $1 million. Who knew? Visit graveyardcars.com to learn more. Darren took a nap while the rest of us finished tearing down Mike Hill's Superbird. Meanwhile, Larry the upholsterer guy installed the black vinyl top on Chris's AAR Cuda. I finally got together with Darren to plan the restoration of a 70 Challenger, and despite my good intentions, he accused me of stealing the parts off his car. Now that we got the body and paint, striping, headliner, and vinyl top done on our AAR, we've got it raised up on the shop crane. We're getting ready to lower it down over the front and the rear suspension, which have already been detailed to OEM specs, and that'll be one of the last things we have to do on this car.
Seems like just yesterday we were doing the black Cuda, and now we're onto the AAR with the suspension. This is the fun stuff for me. We can actually get a lot done in a short amount of time.
Today's going to be a fun day here at Graveyard Carz, except for working with Mark. We're going to put in the front suspension, the rear axle assembly for the 70 AAR Cuda. All of our hard work is finally going to show off of the plating, the detailing, the painting, the assembly line markings, all that. Now is going to be a big payday here. We're going to put it all together. It's going to look great.
All right, very gingerly, we're going to lower the car down over the rear suspension.
Okay. We might have to move a few things, huh?
Now, what did you hear? I'm just anxious as heck to hear
Lower
what
the car
you
down over the rear suspension.
What'd you hear?
Same thing.
No, I want
Lower
you
the
to
car
say it.
down over the rear suspension. Gingerly.
Okay.
Gingerly.
Gingerly.
Because a lot of times it gets translated
Wait, you
into
wanna know what I
drop the
heard?
car on the roof
Yeah,
and cave
ask
it in and
Royal.
let's start back over
Blah,
again.
blah,
I just
blah,
want to
I'm
make
ready
sure.
for it.
It's like telling an orangutan to brush after every meal. It'll agree, it'll nod up and down, it'll smile, make some kind of cute noise, just like Josh does. But as soon as you turn around, it'll hit you in the back with a dung patty.
Whoa! Okay, stop! Stop! Got to go forward the rear end or something.
That's what you're there
gotta be
for.
centered.
Where'd you put that other
We might want to
shackle
move the other
at,
side.
homie?
It's
Oh, I
got to be
see.
centered, I would think, right? More or less.
Well, my guys aren't that bright.
The rear axle assembly sometimes can be a little difficult to put in these cars because you've got the springs attached to the housings, and you got to like force things, move things around to get them to line up in the holes for the spring hangers and the shackles in the back. Josh, you're pushing it the wrong way.
Oh, I'm trying to push
I
the
want
car
the front
towards you.
to go towards Royal, just the front. Well, usually when I'm working by myself, I don't have any trouble at all.
Okay, Darren, it's easy to say these things, but doing it.
And you know how Josh is.
Hey guys, here's what happens. The leaf springs have the ability to move a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna loosen the
There,
perches.
thank you. Now a little bit more, Josh.
When we put the axles in these cars, they've already been pre-assembled. In the case of the AAR, the leaf springs need to be loosened up where they mount onto the shackle so they can pivot a little bit and allow us that little bit of freedom and movement to get the front leaf spring perch in place and the back leaf spring perch. Darren, could you hold on a second, sir? And I'll get you this where it needs to be. As I've said before, I really like the Trans Am Challenger and the AAR Cuda. These cars were meant to go through a slalom course as fast as they could. These cars were built to handle and have horsepower. It came with a minimum 3.55 gear ratio on a Sure Grip carrier. It also had a rear sway bar. In 1970, the only E-bodies that came with a rear sway bar were the Cuda and the Challenger, Trans Am, and AAR. Please tell me, please, in the name of all that is holy in this land, that Josh has got the K-member bolts cleaned and ready to go in. You know when you're driving down the road and you see some nut job talking to a mailbox and carrying on a conversation? It's the exact same thing that happens to me every single day.
Okay. Whoa.
Right. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, the nut job has a better chance of getting a good reply though.
Okay, let's get it in. I get it up.
Okay.
Once I get it under there,
Just
we
roll
can
it
shift
under.
it.
Okay.
Where's
Where's the bolts for the K-member?
Do you not really have them?
No, nobody told me to do anything. Hang on,
I didn't do
let me
anything.
start
I
over.
just
I'm
asked a
sorry.
question.
I'm lashing out at you for the wrong reasons. Mark, buddy,
Yeah.
Okay,
bolts
let's
for the
look for
K member.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was never informed on getting those done and or clean.
Realizing that it's a good idea. If I work with them instead of beating them down, maybe if I work a little bit more with them and try to train them, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to be more patient and I'm trying to walk them through what I take as second nature. I'm trying to get them to take it as second nature. But unfortunately, it's a little difficult with these
Get 'em.
particular guys.
That one's messed up. Throw that away just to get rid of it. The threads are messed up.
Yeah, that's horrid.
Okay. Okay.
They all tight?
All right.
In tight and in right.
Lift it up.
Grab the jack stand, fool.
You
Put the
lower this
impact
car,
back.
I will lower your face.
Just get the jack stand.
Got the jack stand.
So here's the thing. I go away for 90 seconds. I come back. The front wheels are on the car. Why is he putting the wheels on?
I told him not to. He's going to do it his way. He's
Wasn't
going to be
easy.
like Royal.
No, you gotta have the torque. If you
I
let it down,
told
those
him.
wheels are gonna slime up into the bottoms of the
Dude,
fender.
no.
I told him.
No games.
No time,
games,
no time,
games.
no time.
You
Let the charger
encouraged me
down,
to
roll
put
it
the wheels
outside.
on.
Let's charge it down, roll it outside. Let's charge it down, roll it outside. Let's
Okay,
charge it
so
down, roll it outside.
therefore,
Let's charge it down,
we
roll it
need the
outside.
wheel.
It's not easy working with Mark, but sometimes it gets a little worse and gets a little crazier, and that affects Josh, and that doesn't make things any easier to deal with around here.
Let's charge it down, roll it outside. Let's charge it down, roll it outside. Charge it down, roll it
you were
outside.
just-
Charge it, roll it outside. Charge, roll
he's
side,
having a-
roll
I think he's having a
side,
ridiculous-
charge, roll
I
side,
think
charge,
he's-
roll
I think he's
side.
having a
Finally. That's 15 minutes just to get what you want.
I'm gonna drop his ass on this concrete.
Well, why don't
Watch
you
him
bring
flop
it
around
on,
like
little
a
tough
fish.
guy?
What are you gonna do, Slug?
They're gonna carry. Well, what about you?
Left hand? Which one's?
You know what? It's harder and harder for me to be nice if you're gonna be a fool.
Oh, Marky.
Yeah, show off for everybody. Do it, shit up. Do what you want to do. Look at me, everybody. Okay.
Oh, come
Guys,
on.
we got cars to work.
Was
We
that
got
a
cars to
squeaker?
work on, folks.
Look at
work
this.
to do.
Look at this. Can you do this?
No, I can't. I also weigh more
course
than
you
10
can.
pounds.
We got cars to work
Hey,
on.
we got cars to work on.
Can you do that?
No, I
you
can't. No, I can't. Can you put a car together blindfolded?
I
no,
could do
and
that
you
when
never
I was
will.
your age.
I could lose weight and do that.
No, you would break the equipment.
And they give me a hard time about not working? Oh, come on, give me a break. We're going to take the 72 yellow Charger and move it outside. Then we're going to get the AAR Cuda up on the bin pack so we can get the torsion bars in.
The turds got really lucky. The torsion bars went into place like they're supposed to, even with the wheels on. Doesn't happen all the time like that. The only reason they went in as easy as they did is I was there to big brother it. In spite of a few bumps in the highway, everybody pulled together and we actually did well. We got front and rear suspension under the car. We're nearly done. I'm really looking forward to when Chris comes down and checks it out. I think he's gonna love it every bit as much as I do, if not more. You better go check your depends, fool. He probably took advantage of the fact that I didn't have a lot of experience. Congratulations on the extra chin, by the way. I get up a little earlier than that to beat the kid. We're finished installing the front and rear suspension on Chris's AAR Cuda, and now it's only a matter of hours before our deadline and my rematch on the Hot Wheels racetrack. The fools had better stay on task because I've waited a long time for another shot at the title.
Hey, you want to get me some more gloss black paint, though?
Yeah, I think
Please?
there's another can under the hood of the car I left.
I'm a little
You
slow.
better go check your depends, fool. Why don't you help me set the back window in this thing? So what I like to do is I like to get the ribbon nice and warm so it lays out good. Normally I have a glass company come out and install the windshield and the back glass in these cars. In the case of the AAR Cuda, it has a original set of rear window louvers on it. These are very, very rare, so I want to be responsible for those. Things are going really great on the final assembly of the AAR Cuda. We got the rubber rear bumper installed, the tail lights, we have the deck lid latch, we have mirrors installed, heater suitcase and steering. But everything came to a screeching halt when it came time to put the power brake booster in. You're saying that the bracket that goes against the firewall.
Bracket, the ribs are facing out right now, and I believe they're supposed to be facing in. You know what I mean?
Oh, did I turn it around?
Yeah, I think you did.
No, that's right.
That's right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I didn't believe Mark, so I decided to go to the boneyard and check a couple of original power brake cars myself.
That's right, mine's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's switch it around.
You were blocking half those holes. I want to make sure you knew that.
Good job, Royal.
Good job, Royal. I'm gonna make you look really good because 2 reasons. 1, I'm extremely old. 2, I have a very tiny, tiny penis. But other than that, you know.
My name's Tristan.
I own Trifer Auto Glass and Tint in Eugene, Oregon. We do automotive glass, auto window tinting, auto accessories. Mark called us up, wants a windshield installed in his AAR Cuda, so we're gonna get that installed right away.
One of our newest vendors in the last couple of years has been Trifer Auto Glass. I really enjoy their work. They take a lot of pride in what they're doing. We haven't had any comebacks from it. They drop what they're doing, they come over, they get it done, and they head out. It's just a good subcontractor, and that's what we're surrounding ourselves with. We got Chris's AAR Cuda done on time, and I decided it would be really cool if I just loaded it up on our rollback, headed up to Oregon City, and delivered it to him in person. Would also give me a chance to rectify the fixed Hot Wheels race from last time I was there. Normally speaking, when we're done with a car, we hand it back to them. It's got keys and ignition. You hit the starter and you drive it down the road.
Beautiful. Hi, Mark.
Hey, buddy. How are ya?
Great. It's very nice.
In Chris's case, because we formed a friendship, he asked me if he could put the motor in it and some of the different ornamentation. I had no problem with that. He's a restoration enthusiast. I've seen his other cars. I trust him to finish it right. Time and time again, the teardown has come through. Absolutely one of the best investments I ever made. Never had any problems with it. It's there every time I hit the key, and it makes what I need to do possible.
So Mark was good enough to bring it back. I was blown away. It's absolutely stunning. Mark picked up the car last season, and it was in very poor condition. It was all there, but just very, very rough, and I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I needed some professional help with it. Yeah, I knew it was a good car, you know, underneath, so this is a second life for it.
This is right now.
I couldn't be happier. Some of the features I like about the car are the vinyl top. I like the rear window louver option. I think those turned out really nice. The rear spoilers are cool on these cars. To me, it kind of looks like a jet fighter with that hood and that rear spoiler. And I'm eager to put the side exhaust on. They had the AARs and Trans Am Challengers had side exhausts that exited in front of the rear wheels with a big chrome tip. And that was kind of a nice feature that only came on those cars.
The fact is, I formed a friendship with Chris, and that's awesome, but one of my biggest agendas is to take another shot at the title on a Hot Wheels track. So you remember the deal, though. I did my part. I got the car done, right? So you owe me a rematch at the Hot Wheels.
You want a rematch?
I want a rematch. And I don't want that bum car that you gave me last time, the one with the bad wheel and how you set the brakes up on it so they drag so you'd have a little van. I want a fair, because I think with my lightning cat reflexes.
Have you been practicing?
Sir? So you got two Challengers, two 71s.
Two identical 71 Challenger Hemi cars.
Well, they're both Shakers. Now, you sure mine's a Hemi?
Well, it might be, it might not be. So
yeah, mine might be a 340 and you got the Hemi, I see. Okay,
we'll
that's
never
fine.
know.
That's fine.
But you can choose.
Okay.
Yeah, choose which one you like.
Okay, I'm gonna choose this one because you set this one closer to me to dupe me.
Oh, clever. All right. A coin toss to see who gets lane choice.
Heads.
It is heads.
Of course it is. This is my day, I told you.
I red lighted. All right, Mark's up one.
Okay, all right. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. That's one. Oh. Hello, ladies. What happened there?
You called me on the 340 Challenger.
I did. You thought you had me, didn't you?
I did.
Gotta get up a little earlier than that to beat the kid. Did I red light?
That was a green light.
Huh.
Wow, Mark, I'm impressed.
Huh.
Today is your day.
Beat Chris at his own track, but last time that I was up here, you know, he probably took advantage of the fact that I didn't have a lot of experience at it, and I kind of got beat. But this time I pummeled him pretty bad. Like, the doors don't come off the cars, but the one was kind of almost blown open from the last couple races, so.
I cannot beat you today.
Huh. Huh.
Well done.
Thank you, my friend. You know, as I get ready to head out of here, I realize that we've not only brought another Chrysler back from the dead and given it a new shot at life, but we forged a good friendship with Chris and Sue. So, you know, this is, I'm doing what I love, and I'm passionate about it, and I think that's coming through every single time. Hey, listen up, fools. We got a lot of work to do. Next week, we need to be able to get the tail lights, the SE finish panel, rear bumper, side markers, fuel cap, fuel filler, and fuel tank in. Right now, everything is going great at Graveyard Cars. We are on a roll. We delivered our AAR on time. The cars that are out in the shop are way ahead of schedule for body and paint, which is a good thing, and I have no intention of letting up on the turd stains. It's time to turn and burn.
Can you slow down a little bit? It's going right over my head.
Well, if you had a little hair up there to catch it on the way by, it might slow it down. Exterior ornamentation includes the Challenger emblems that go on the fender along with the RT, the belt moldings. Under the hood, I want to put as much stuff as we can together before we put the hood on it. I want to put headlight doors and grill in it.
in here?
Then I want to roll it into the shop. Then I want to let it down over the suspension. That limits the number of times that we're going in and out of the shop. That limits the number of times chips can destroy something.
He finally decided, listen to me about putting it all together here first.
So the cars may change, but Mark's insults, they're always going to stay the same.
Come on, guys, let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll, pull it and do it. Chrome Dome, your head is shiny as a cue ball. I love it. You got more than...
We need to use whatever wax he's using, we use it on the cars.
Congratulations on the extra chin, by the way. Nice. I'm really excited to give the guys their gift. They're gonna love it. It's gonna be the kind of thing that they talk about for a long time. It's gonna show my true appreciation for the fact that they have been doing a good job. Ha, see ya. One of the other reasons I got the reflective glass on my office, I can hear you creeping up behind me.
Is that for the lobby?
Doesn't matter, doesn't have nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with the 6-foot-tall toilet bug.
Is it for your birthday? I know your birthday's coming up.
I quit having birthdays after last year. You guys ruined my birthdays too, just like you ruined Christmas. Now, this is a little bit of a something, so what do you need?
I totally forgot why I even came up here, to be honest with you.
It's not unnatural for me to give a gift. I give the gift of laughter every single day. But spending money, it's a little tougher because we're on a tight budget. And because of that, I'm really glad I hooked up with Overstock because I managed to make my buck go a long, long way, further than I thought it would. I wish I had a big toilet handle right here. I could...
What would that accomplish?
It would flush the turd, go back to work.
Wow.
Things are going absolutely great at Graveyard Cars right now. We're definitely on a roll. I think even Sir Hates-A-Lot would tell you that we're on a roll.
On a roll.
Could have done your own words. We got the Superbird completely disassembled and taken up to American metal cleaning, so I'm looking forward to getting that back, seeing what kind of panels we have to replace.
Boy, there's something left.
There'll be a lot left. Chris Driscoll got his AAR Cuda delivered back to him, and I blew Chris Driscoll's doors off on the racetrack. He wasn't very happy about that.
At least you say you did. There's no proof, is there?
Well, there's proof on the film. Why don't you go back and watch it?
I haven't seen it.
I just was going to say on the Hot Wheels thing, I blew his doors completely off like 3 times. I mean, that's his track.
You know what children do is play with little Hot Wheels?
West Coast Metal Buildings came up. We now have 6 brand new 8x16 storage containers to put the parts that come off the cars in. That's going to help us get organized.
Too bad they wouldn't have been here a few years back. Had a little bit bigger unit. I could put my whole car in there and saved it.
Yeah, well, I would have had the lock to it anyway.
Very nice.
We got a chance to inventory your car and go over what we need to do to get back on track, having it restored.
Seems like there's a few more missing pieces, though.
I don't know, Ben.
Each time we look at it, there's more and more pieces that are gone.
Look at me. Your left eye's getting swollen shut, even more.
Why?
More than it was like 6 months ago. 6 more months, you're gonna look like Mr. Peanut.
Why? What's he look like?